All right. Yikes. All right, hopefully we're live right now. This is embarrassing. Yeah. Um okay, so I think the issue that I have possibly to do with OBS, I don't know for sure. It might be to do with the hotkeys responding to the hotkeys that are for Logic and or Studio One. So what I did was I turned off the hotkeys on OBS, and I'm hoping that will fix the issue with it cutting out. So let's see how we go. If this works, great. If not, we'll come back later when it does, because that's something I need to. I really want to do live streams with you guys. I really want to invest into the community of YouTube, and I want to give you guys content that's not trash. So anyway, so let's get into recap. So you understand exactly what's happening here, and you know how all this is working. And also, if you have any comments, questions, or anything about mixing, whatever, to do with production, anything, just let me know, and I shall try to answer them the best I can. I have the live stream chat in front of me, and we're going to monitor that as well. So I shall do that, and we'll work this out together as we do. So anyway, let's get into this video. Hopefully this will all work out, and let's get straight into the process of mixing this track from start to finish. So to set a foundation, I'm laying a ground of the fact that I've already done some of the gain staging in this mix. And the gain staging, if you don't know what gain staging is or how it works, all it is balancing your tracks. So there is a somewhat fundamental mix that's a basis for your intro for your track. So when you're listening to the track, thank you for tuning in if you're just tuning in as well. When you're listening to the track, a balanced mix is just gain staging it so you get everything that sounds, relatively good together, and things aren't clashing too much, things aren't too loud, too quiet, all that kind of stuff. So you're just basically setting a foundation. So it's like that. So then from there, I've already got the gain stage set. Now with the master bus here, and I'll just explain this briefly because I've already explained this a few times on multiple of my live streams, just so you know. But this one is the Impusher. So that's a clipper and a limiter, so it does both. And what I do when I first set this up is I set it to the key of the track. So this is a C, or it's actually C minor. And that gives me the fundamental of that track. So you can see down here, I don't know how clear that is on the screen, but it says 65 hertz. And that's what that is giving me the fundamental there. So I'll just play the track so you can hear it. Yeah. So that's... I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all never changes. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize every step that I take, and every move that I make, you're here for our sake, fulfilling your word, just like you say. Love will abide on that day, and that's why you hung just like you did on that stake. I turn back. Okay, so as you can hear, that's creating a fundamental low end, and I'll just bypass it so you can hear the difference. I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. That's active. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back. All right, so basically what that plugin is doing, it's just creating a fundamental, more low-end push at that 65 hertz range. And I'm setting this up preemptive of the bus being pushed higher into that the limiting stage. So that's what that plugin's doing there. The next thing is the bus compressor. This is the Master Bus SSL, so SSL 4000, that's what you'd have on the console. And I set that to be compressing at about -2, thereabouts. So just have a listen to that and see what the differences are with and without. And that would be needing that to be active. So I'll just activate that. Okay, for some reason, good old SSL plugin doesn't want to work. Fantastic. Alright, I don't know what the deal is with that. It doesn't seem to want to function how it's supposed to. Basically what the Ssl Bus Comp is, if you don't already know, it's just a compressor that works on the console. They have the SSL 4000. All the consoles usually have a bus compressor on the solid state consoles, but that's the concept of the compressor there. I'm just going to try and see if the mono version works. I don't know why the stereo version wouldn't work. Let me just check this out. Negative. Okay. Well, that's not what you want. Alright, we'll leave the bus compressor for now because that, for whatever reason, doesn't want to function how it's supposed to. So anyway, so generally, like I said, with the clipper, I use that just as a protection for the overs. So it's clipping and it's causing that sealing. So you've got that there. And next stage then is the vocals. So if I go to the vocal bus here for the chorus, I'll solo that. I turn back. Now you can see with this compressor here, this is a multiband compressor, and I'm primarily getting the mid-range frequency, so from 128 to 4K. So that's kind of compressing some of that mids just to push it down a bit, and this creates a bit of control over the mid-range frequency there. Play it without. I turn back, I gotta turn back, hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back. So you can hear it pushes down the mid-range frequency a fair bit, but that's in blending with the rest of the track. So I was listening to the remainder of the track and I use this to work that out. I turn back, I gotta turn back, hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back, hoo-hoo. Alright, so you can hear now that mid-range is kind of controlled. The next step that I'd go to is listening to the kick and the snare. And these two are the fundamental drivers of the track. So if I just play that. So I probably want a bit more harmonic content on the kick especially. So what I might do is put tape on there, and I think Kramer tape's probably the best bet for that one. Let's have a listen to this with the tape on it. I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back, hoo-hoo. What you can actually do as well, instead of addressing individual sounds, is put them in a bus. So I've got a snare, clap, and open hi-hat, kick, and cymbals. Let's move these into the same area. And then normally what I would do is color code according to what they are. So I'll just go all blue for the drums, so I know exactly what's happening there. And then what I would do is add them into a bus. So just go add into selected bus. And then you can see here, this white bus here is the drum bus. So I'll just put drums. And that way I know that's the bus there. So you can put a tape on your whole bus, which is potentially what I'll do. I'll just test it out, see how it goes first to see if that works. Let's have a listen to the drums first on their own. And then in context of the track. I turn back. Let's turn this one off here. Back. Back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta. See, that's the thing. In context, you can hear it, and I don't like how it's affecting the snare, especially the snare itself. So I'm going to take that and put it in another. It might be the clap or the snare. I don't know which one's being affected the most, but primarily that's probably what it's doing. So I might just leave it off the bus and then individually put it on instruments just so I can hear it. Back, I turn back, I turn back. I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, so ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. So it's definitely the snare that I don't like it on. So what I would do in that instance, at least I know now, I can go in and EQ the snare individually and then just do my own processing on that. The snare doesn't sound too bad how it is, but I like the Ssl EV2 channel because it really does, it has some features that I like about this this plugin here. So let's just make that a little bit larger so you guys can see it. Let's have a listen to this track and see what it sounds like on the snare. Back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. Turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. History, it seems to me that you can see. Okay, so what I tried to do with the snare there is take off some of the high stuff to make it sound more in line with the track. And the way I like to do that is I have a SSL 6 channel, which is analog here in front of me. That's where my voice is going through right now. But what that has is it's got a 3.5 or 3 hertz or 3000 hertz, whichever way you want to look at it. That's where the filter is on this channel, and I like to use that because it seems to be where the annoying frequencies are on a track. So I usually reduce that first, see if it works, and then I do the same thing with about 8K or 10K depending on what it needs. So this one was about 8K, kind of works well. And then the other thing on this channel you can do is push the mic pre into this channel strip, so it gives you a bit of harmonic content that you may not have already. We'll just try and have a listen to it, see if it sounds and works for this track. So let's check this out. Back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back. Yeah, perfect. That sounds about right. We'll just leave that for now. And I'll go into the actual rap section of this track.
Living like chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street.
Okay, everything sounds kind of balanced in there. So what I want to do is just bring the wrap up a bit in line with the rest of the track. and kind of have it where it's bouncing from the snare and the kick as well. So let's try that out and see what we can do. So what I might do on that is first off, get the compressor. Where is it? This is the one. Okay, so rap vocal, it's on this track here, so it's in the white kind of grayish kind of color. Let's check this out, see if we can get the rap kind of sitting how it should.
We living like chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low, but why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet, I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why? I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn.
And I might even have that compressor on the hook section as well, just to see what it does. And I'll just keep the threshold roughly the same. We'll just have a listen to that, see how it goes.
We living like chasing dreams. I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, I gotta turn back. Worldwide, slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a...
All right, that sounds pretty good as far as the balance when it comes from the hook to the rap section. The balancing is kind of getting there. It's not too bad. And the thing is, with mixing in the box or even just mixing in general, you don't want to overkill. So not too much is good. Little is more in that sense. So let's check out this instrument here, the Omnisphere bells and the guitar that I've got. And I'll play the rap as well while I listen to this, so I can kind of get a balance and an idea of what it should sound like.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low, but why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking it.
If you have any questions, remember to hit me in the comments, and thank you everyone for tuning in and watching this monstrosity of a live stream. At the start it kept cutting out. I figured it out. It was the hotkeys on OBS. So let's keep working here. So with this this kind of bell sound,
see what we be living like.
I don't want that too loud in the mix. I want it to just be like a teaser from left and right, but I hear there's a bit of low end on it that I don't really want or need that much of, so I might just EQ some of that out. Just check it out first.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low, but why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street, continuing games.
And I might delete, because I've got a double of my drums. Sometimes I like to use this so I can do a parallel compression of my drums. That's actually the bus mixed out, but I might just leave that out for now. And I might mute it just so I don't have to have that in here, and hide the track. All right, so let's play.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low, but why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street.
Sweet. Let me bring this up just a tad.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low, but why is it so? Rinse and repeat.
Okay, at this stage, I might start adding in some reverb and stuff like that, just to get the atmosphere of the track and open it up a bit as well. If you don't know about Studio One, Studio One actually has this thing called Console Shaper inside of Studio One, which is pretty much emulating a console and how a console works. So this is crosstalk, which happens through electronics when console is activated. So all the electronics going through the console, they somehow bleed into other parts of the console, and that's called crosstalk. That's what that does there. So it actually feeds a bit of audio to every single channel in the mix. The other thing is drive. That creates a bit of harmonic drive, so just harmonic content. And you don't want too much of either of these, to be honest, but I'll show you what it sounds like without it and then with it on.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it.
So you can kind of hear it adds a bit more of just fullness to the track. Now it's obviously creating a little bit more volume, and that's okay. That's what we're trying to go for, but I'll just leave that on for now because I like the way that that console shaper works. It's kind of something special to Studio One and the way they sum their console. I think Luna or something has, UAD have something with Luna similar to that. But anyway, that's just that. So the next thing here then is with this, I want to get some of that pushed up a little bit. And I might actually, I'll stick to what I was going to do. I'll do the reverb first because that's kind of what I want to hear first. I think this is a little bit CPU intensive, but we'll find out in a second. Let's chuck it on the vocal. And the way you find out the CPU is this little button down here. Once it allows me to. Let's find out. Okay, so we got, it's not too bad. That's all right. Let's leave it for now. So chucking plate. I love plate reverbs. Anything plate is good. Smashing plates, reverb plate, whatever.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why? I turn back.
That's starting to sound pretty good. And again, I use this on a bus. So I should say a send. It's going from this send here into its own send on this section here. And I might just color code that to be white. Maybe yellow actually. So that's a send here. So that's where that reverb's going. And you can just hear the soloed reverb. So it's not a whole lot of reverb, and I don't like to put a lot of reverb, not too much at least anyway. Another thing that you can do as well, which I might do as on a later stage of this mix, is put a compressor on the reverb to push it out of the way for the vocal to be in the place when it's rapping or singing or whatever. And then at least gets out of the way so it doesn't clog your mix up. That's something I'll do. Actually, I might just put a compressor on there now and see if we can get some of that action happening as I already speak about it. All right, so this little button here, which is a sidechain, you can actually sidechain whatever you want. So I'll just do the rap and the chorus bus, and that should get me the right place. And then you put this little sidechain button on, and that allows it to then sidechain to this compressor, and it pushes the reverb out of the way. So the way you work it is fast attack, reasonably fast release, depending on how quick your song is. The BPM of this track is only 58 BPM, so it's a really slow track. But I sped it up double time by the way I played certain instruments and rapped and etc. Let's have a listen to this, push it out of the way, and see if it helps. All right, so I'll put it with the track in context.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO.
So you can kind of hear when the vocal's going, it's getting pushed out of the way, and then when the vocal stops, it goes back to how it should, and I'll just put that back to 0. So let's see what it sounds like in context of the whole mix.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it.
All right, so it kind of gives you a pretty good idea of what that's doing. And you don't always have to do this. This is like more advanced, I guess, techniques to keep things clear in the mix. But it really does help you get to the right place and not have things clogging the mix up too much to the fact where it's detrimental to the sound of your track. The next thing I want to do is with the kick. Again, I'm hearing the kick needs a bit more, probably SSL on it. Let's get this channel here and chuck it straight on the kick and see if we can get a bit more harmonic content out of the kick. So I'll just drag this down so I can get the level match already done.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why? I turn back.
Okay, that should do for now. And then we'll go for that snare again, because I do feel like the snare needs a little bit of work on the EQ. So I might high pass and low pass the snare just to get it more in a pocket. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of push different frequencies around in the snare or the kit, and that's all going into this bus here. So it's summing straight into this bus, which I have nothing on that yet, but we'll check that out later. So next stage then is to listen to the track as a whole, and then use reverb on individual tracks to see if it suits or not.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street.
So I want this to be louder, but I don't want to push the volume by pushing the fader. So I'm going to get some harmonic content happening with it. Maybe I'll try the tape on it first to see if that works, or if not, then I'll try something else, maybe an exciter or something.
See what we be living like.
That's a mono tape plugin. Let's try. Actually, I'll just put an exciter. This one will do. All right, let's try this out.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Pack the bag, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why? I turn back.
Yeah, that sounds good. So the exciter's pretty good for that. If you want to get things kind of just that little bit extra, maybe on the top or somewhere around that, it does really well in giving you that extra harmonic content, and you don't have to do too much as far as the EQ is concerned. The other thing now I will look at is is this meter. I just want to see where things are at. I'll just turn this down a little bit. All right, Let's turn this up.
Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and
It's looking good. Okay, so the meter, and the reason why I use this meter and the way I'm using the meter is this frequency range of 31 upwards to 20K, 20,000. So that is showing me all the low end here, and it's minus 18. So I'm using this area here to look at the frequency and how it's pushed in. And I'm using minus 18 because with a lot of analog gear, if I ever was to mix this to analog, then you kind of have to worry about the I guess the headroom that you have. The same thing applies to some of these plugins as well. Some of the headroom on the plugins are set the way the analog gear is set because they're kind of built that way. So you have to kind of just gain stage in essence like you would if you were gain staging in an analog realm. But anyway, that's just that. So let's move on to this, and let's kind of see if I can push this volume a little bit first and then mess around a bit here as well.
see what we be living like, chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, I gotta turn back.
All right, so as you can see with this plugin, I've created a bit of extra boost. I'm not driving it fully yet because that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to bring this down so I kind of level match it just a little bit, and we'll get to that in just a sec. So let's have a listen to this.
See what we be living like, chasing dreams. You can see through history, so why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be?
Now I notice these vocals here on this first verse are louder than this one on the second verse. So let's have a listen to that and check this out as well. Whoopsie, let's move over here. Okay. All right, so I just want to see on the meter what's actually happening first off.
Worldwide, slow vibe. See what we be living. You can see through history, so why is it that we can be?
All right, so this section here is a little bit lower, and I'm not sure if it's the whole section of that mix, but we'll find out in a second. I'm just going to reduce this down so I can actually see the waveform. Yeah, okay, so the waveform showing me a peak here that's around about the same volume here, but the rest of it's kind of a little bit lower. So good thing about Studio One is you can actually go in here and change the gain envelope and set it so it's individual. So we go, that's kind of now level matched it a bit. And you can do this with another plugin inside of Waves. They have a plugin that kind of rides the track, but I don't really think I need that right now, and I don't really want to get into that on this tutorial, but we'll have a listen and see.
Mystery, it seems to me that you can see through. Love will abide.
Okay, so this part probably could do with it as well. Just doing it visually at the moment, by the way.
Mystery.
All right, so what I might do then is just bounce that so that's all set, and then bring the volume up to kind of match the same level. And I think it's probably by about 2 dB maybe.
Mystery, it seems.
No, maybe 3.
Mystery, it seems to me that you can see through history, so why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize every step that I take, and every move that I make, you're here for our sake, fulfilling your word.
It's kind of getting there. It's close-ish kind of to where I want it to be, but not 100% perfect. But that shall do for now to kind of give you an example of what you can do inside of Studio One. Anyway, so the next stage is with the bus. Let's just get the bus compressor if I can get that working now. Hopefully I can. We'll find out.
History, it seems to me.
No, I don't know. This plugin is just glitchy for some reason. I'll figure that out later. But I normally what I would do is add a bus compressor to the bus here, and then work with it behind this. But I won't use the SSL one. I'll just use another one for now. Let's just try this one. So 30 millisecond attack, auto release, 4-1, and we'll have a listen to that.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all, never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain.
Okay, so with the SSL plugin, again, on this one, I'll just quickly show you so you can see what I'm talking about. For whatever reason, it's not working. But anyway, once I figure that out, we'll sort it out. But the SSL doesn't have a sidechain channel in it, and a lot of the old consoles didn't anyway. So what they had to do is parallel this plugin, or the actual hardware. But with some of the new plugins, and even on the SSL, you can still do it. But for example, on the native SSL plugin, you actually have a mix wet dry. So maybe Waves will look into that. I don't know. I think they're trying to keep it more to the original comp compressor. But anyway, that's just the way they work it. So let's stick with that. The next thing then is when I go for this one, I want to push into the plugin so I get some volume to push up to increase the volume. So, you know, when perceivable when you hear it, and on the meters, which I'll just get another meter plugin as well. Let me just load that up. Let's get this one here. I just want to see what it's doing on the VU meters.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we...
Okay, so it's hitting the VU meter at +3, which is basically in the red, as that would be for that level of mix. Now, the next thing then is probably, let's see this meter here. All right, because this is probably one of my favorite meters as far as the Waves plugins are concerned, because it has a lot of information, and you can find out heaps of stuff on this. So let's have a listen to the track and see what we've got on the meters here.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all, never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize.
All right, so short term, long term, minus 21, 20-ish LUFS, and that's good because we got the right kind of sounding track, and it's sounding good. So let's push this and see what we can get, because this is where you can kind of, on your master bus, and I haven't finished mixing this track yet, but just as a heads up, on the master bus, you can kind of start driving things more and more into it. And that's kind of how I work. I like to put sort of different things harmonically and just kind of different things to create sound and boost the volume as well. So I'll do that in just a minute. I just wanted to know where I was at as far as the mix is concerned. So let's check out the Serum Base, and let's see what that's doing on the meters as well. Let's check this out, have a listen. And then with the kick as well. Let's move it to a kick section. Might throw some reverb on the snare. Okay, Okay, that sounds about right. Doesn't sound like there's too much interfering with the low end on the track, so that's good so far.
Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat. Like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street. Continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word. But I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, I gotta turn back.
Okay, so you just saw on the mix bus, well, it's the bus for the vocals. I use the C4 plugin. Let's make this larger as well. So the C4 plugin, I use that to push down the vocal on the low end. So everything below this area here, so it's around about 80, I think 90 hertz. I pushed all the low end down with the compressor there. So that's kind of allowed a bit of the mix to kind of breathe a bit more. I felt like something was hogging the low end, and I don't want the vocals to be doing that. So let's have a listen to the vocals again on the chorus.
I gotta turn back.
And then bypass this as well.
I gotta turn back.
Yeah, it sounds way better, way more controlled.
I gotta turn back.
Even though you can see here the peak,
I gotta turn back.
it still sometimes hits a little bit high, but I'll figure that out with a little bit of EQ. That's no problem. But yeah, let's have a listen to the main track now with that done so far.
I gotta turn back.
Worldwide, slow vibe. See what we be living like. Chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat. Like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street. Continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word. But I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back. I gotta turn back.
Worldwide, slow vibe. See what we be living like. Chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat. Like we ain't.
That's sounding pretty good. So far we've got all this stuff done to the channels. What I want now is to get some more wideness happening with the track and just bring different effects in. So maybe delay is the call. So let's have a listen to a delay. I like the H delay, so I'll probably just go with that. Let's try it on the vocals and see how that works as well.
I gotta turn back.
Worldwide, slow vibe. See what we be living like.
Okay, so let's try classic ping pong, and then I'll set it to the host, and I'll change this to a 1/8 note, maybe. See how we go.
I got
Slow vibe. See what we be living like. Chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low.
So that's what's happening in the sides, just both sides right now. And if I look at a meter as well, I'll just show you the stock PreSonus meter, because this is kind of going to give you an idea if you're let's go up here. If you're trying to get an idea of what's happening as far as the phase in your track, and this is something you want to pay attention to a little bit, just to get an idea as well. Let's play that. So you can see on the meter here, it's kind of just all in the center, but it's on the sides. It's being pushed a little bit. Correlation though is not too bad, so that's all right, and it's only a little bit, so it should be fine.
No go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat. Like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street. continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat.
I might even try the exciter on the snare. I don't want too much though. We'll kill it if I do. Let's just turn down that a bit.
Slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low.
All right, we'll see how that goes. It's taken off a fair bit of the top end, but that's all right because I might introduce that back in later on. But what I now may do is push this in a bit, and it's going to increase the volume, so just be aware of that. I'll do 5 dB to see what that does, and we'll test that out. And I might level match by taking this down by 10 just to see what we're hearing on the output.
Slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street.
The reason why I tried the RLX exciter on the snare is because I wanted the vocal to sit in its own space. There's a number of things you can do as far as that's concerned with EQ, but I want to try that out first to see if it would just sort of dull the snare a little bit so it's not too abrasive for the vocal and the snare to be hitting at the same time. So let's try this out with the volume increase, because obviously that's why we're pushing this. We'll bring that back up to -5.
Slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it, but we walking that street. Continuing games, I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back. I turn.
All right, so straight away with the chorus section, way too much happening still with the low end or the mid frequency. I don't know which. I'll just check it out in a second. I'm just going to get an EQ and work around that. So I might just use this EQ. Actually, I might use it on individual channels to see if I can clear out some. I don't want to clear all of it yet. So let's move this up. Sorry, I should move that up there.
Slow vibe.
And here.
I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back.
Okay, so it's starting to sound pretty good. I'm liking the way the mix is coming together. It's definitely sounding like it's got that analog kind of vibe to it. And I may or may not add more back in with this. Actually, I might flick these around. Hit the RLX first, try that out.
I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all, never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize every step that I take, and every move that I make, you're here for our sake, fulfilling your word, just like you say. Love will abide on that day, and that's why you hung just like you did on that stake.
I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh,
That's actually sounding pretty good. So what I did there, just briefly, as I was listening to it, is I put an EQ from the first channel onto 3 of them to see what it would do, and if it was, just clearing up some of the mids or the frequencies that were bothering me a bit. But yeah, I mean, as a mix so far, it's sounding pretty whole, and it sounds pretty decent. The other thing that I would probably do on these 2 channels, I'll just have another listen. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of low end there, and I kind of like the way it's hugging the mix a bit anyway, so I might just leave that for now, and then work on the master bus and get a linear phase EQ. So linear. Let's actually see what waves have with the linear phase. I think. Yeah, so normally the reason why I use linear on the master bus is for the low end, so I'm not creating an extra bump at the low end frequency. So for example, I'll just show you this EQ here. If I was going to drop this one, it might actually even work, but you can use this EQ on the master bus as well. It just depends on your mix and what you want, but I'll just reset this. Let's go Nate default. Quick default there. So you can put this on here, and I'll just have a listen first.
I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh. Ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh.
Yeah, so actually that's not too bad. The reason why I put that on there now is because I felt like a little bit of the low end was hitting the compressor too much. But then when I listened to it again, I wanted the low end after the compressor to be taken out. So I've got the compressor first. This is not a Waves compressor, but we're just emulating the same thing because Waves compressor wasn't working for me. The REQ, it's my thing. It's not anything with Waves. It's just my I don't know, it's the AU plugin or something. Anyway, so the EQ is coming after compression, and what I'm doing, I'll just make this larger so you can see. What I'm doing here is removing some at 30, so you can see here the frequency is set to 30 hertz, and I'm just reducing it with a Q of 0.90. So that's allowing some of that low frequency to be taken out of the mix, and it's not going to interfere then with the section here. So this is the clipper. So I'm going to push the clipper a little bit and see if I can get any extra volume out of it. And if I can, then great. If not, we'll leave it how it is. And let's have a listen to that and see how we go. So I'll just reduce this down a bit. Let's go down to 10 again. I should just type it in. It's probably easier. -10. All right, we're going to push this a bit and see what we can go and get.
On that steak.
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh. Ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back.
Okay, so I think 7 dB in is about right. I was starting to hear a bit of distortion anywhere past that. So I'm going to bring this back up and just turn down your volume on whatever your device you're listening on, just because there is an increase in volume now, and that's what this is actually doing. So check this out. Have a listen.
It on that steak.
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh. Ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh.
All right, so that's pretty cool. I really like how that's actually worked out. And what I'm going to do now is just level match it. I think I was at -3-ish.
It on that steak.
Yeah, okay, so it was at -3 before all these plugins. So we're going to take the plugins off. and we'll have a listen to how the final mix sounds with the plugins on, and check this out.
Ooh, I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh, I gotta turn back.
Worldwide, slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. I turn back.
Okay, let's have a listen to After with all the plugins engaged. And then I'll bypass and activate so you can hear the difference. Just give me one sec, mute myself.
Ooh, I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh, I gotta turn back.
Worldwide, slow vibe, see what we be living like. Chasing dreams for what we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all, never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize every step that I take, and every move that I make, you're here for our sake, fulfilling your word, just like you say. Love will abide on that day, and that's why you hung just like you did on that stake.
I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back.
All right, so the reason why I want to go back and forth is to see what kind of improvement I actually made, or if it was a worse than before. So in my opinion, I feel like the track started to sound more full. The low end, I probably could work on a little bit more, but I'm just going to work around that. I really feel like the track did come together though, as far as how the sounds are all kind of meshing together, especially with the chorus section, how it kind of just goes, like the chorus is just fully wide. I just love the vocals on the side there. And the low end, like I said, I could work on that probably with a EQ or something like that when I get into the mastering stage. But I just want to do this first part of the video to show you guys kind of how I would go about mixing it. And the thing is as well with mixing your track, it's not, as you can see here on all the channels, I don't have a plugin on every single channel. It's not about, you know, throwing a plugin on every single thing and then trying to just EQ different things for no reason. I really do try and choose like what I'm EQing, what I'm hearing. Again, I'm mixing in headphones, so it's not optimal. And I use NS10 style of speakers here, so CLA 10s. I've got those normally for mixing, so I kind of reference back and forth between the two and confirm, you know, if I hear on the speakers something sticking out or not right, then I go back and try to fix it as well that way. But yeah, you can kind of see with the reverb, like I'll recap again with the delay reverb and stuff like that. Actually, especially with the reverb, I'm using this reverb, which is the plate reverb. With that, I'm pushing the reverb out of the way with the vocal. I probably could do that with the chorus as well, but I'm trying to just create some space so the reverb is pushed out of the way while the singing or the rapping's happening, and then the reverb comes back in after the fact. So it's just a technique you can use to kind of get your sound to be a little bit more clear and not have problems interfering frequency wise. So that's kind of what I did there. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below about this track or your mix, or if you're struggling to try and work out certain things. A lot of it, I would say, comes down to choosing the correct samples if it's a sample-based track. Tonality-wise, you can see with this snare that I had, it wasn't exactly how I wanted it at the start, and I'll just play the kick and snare here. I mean, the snare doesn't sound bad. It's not at all bad, but it's when you play it with the vocal, especially with this vocal, because it's a lot of high frequency on the vocal.
Worldwide, slow vibe, see what we be living like, chasing dreams.
It sits okay, but then with the RLX and with everything else in the mix, you want to have everything kind of sitting together so it all sort of meshes. So I'll just play it with the plugins on.
Worldwide, slow vibe, see what we be living like, chasing dreams, all we want.
So I added a bit more of that mid-range stuff into the snare so that it kind of sits well. So what I did there, I just, as you probably saw along the way, I added 3 dB plus of 800. And that doesn't necessarily have to be the same on every snare. It doesn't work the same on every snare. It just matters, you know, what's for your track. But it just gave me a bit of that push on the mids. And then I took out some at 3.5 on the green EQ there. So that's usually where you see on the hardware. That's the same kind of thing. And on the red section here, so this is the high frequency, I took out about 3 as well. So 2 or -2 there. And that's at 8K roughly. And it's kind of the frequencies that just seem to be, they really build up quickly, and because they're so fast and the high-end frequencies take a lot of energy, you want to get rid of some of them so the important parts of the track don't interfere with that. So it's not always, like I said, it's not always the same. It depends on what you're working on, but again, this worked for this track, and using the compressor as well helped eliminate some of the transient, so it kind of carries it through that way. So yeah, so that's pretty much that. As far as the mastering of this, I might do a separate tutorial, separate live stream for it maybe. It just depends. I might actually do a full tutorial on it. If anyone has, you know, ideas of what they want to see in the mastering, hit me in the comments now and give me an idea of anything in particular you have any questions on. If not, I'll just do what I normally do, and that's to show you guys how I work with my my stuff there. So yeah, so let me just play the track from start and show you guys exactly again what this sounds like, and then I'll explain anything further if you need it in the comments. Let's go.
I gotta turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I turn back. I gotta turn back. Ooh. Ooh. I gotta turn
flow vibe. See what we be living like. Chasing dreams for we want, but likelihood we ain't choosing right. Pile up sins, it's a YOLO. Once it's done, it's a no-no. Can't take it back, it's a no-go. Back to back, feeling low. But why is it so? Rinse and repeat, like we ain't heard it. But we walking that street, continuing games. I just found my feet. I'm hearing that word, but I still turn to heat. Why?
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back.
History, it seems to me that you can see through history. So why is it that we can be so blind to see what you could be? The God of all, never changing. There was once where I would blame you. A world full of suffering and pain here, but how can I be blameless? I realize every step that I take, and every move that I make, you're here for our sake, fulfilling your word, just like you say. Love will abide on that day, and that's why you hung just like you did on that stake.
I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I turn back, I gotta turn back. Ooh, ooh.
All right, to summarize, pretty much for this track, I think the mix is about there. Again, like I said, if you have any questions before this live stream ends, just let me know in the comment section down below and I shall try to answer them now. Otherwise, hopefully this kind of gave you a understanding of, this mix in particular, kind of how I attacked it, what I did as far as EQ, compression, reverb, and delay and all that sort of stuff. It really is just a matter of taste. This comes down to my taste and what I like to hear. Not everyone's mixes are going to sound the same either, and that's the thing. That's what this is about. It's like art. You draw a painting and somebody else is going to draw the same painting completely different to you, or it's at least not going to be identical anyway. It's very hard to copy exactly what somebody else is going to do, but there are certain things that you do or don't do as far as EQ and compression. You don't need a whole lot of compression, especially when it comes to plugins. Because in the box, especially when you're mixing in the box, I've got hardware here. I've got a Better Maker mastering limiter, and I've also got a SSL channel and a SSL style of compressor. And I use all of them on my mixing, but sometimes I feel like if you're mixing in the DAW and you've got the right sounds, you can do almost identical, if not as good or better, than if you were using the hardware, because you have to go through a round trip and it goes through AD to DA and converts it and stuff. And sometimes you lose the fidelity of certain things, or you start to do things that aren't sounding right. The good thing with plugins, you can literally throw them on or off that easily, that you can decide in your mind if it sounds how you want it to, or if it's not right or whatever. So sometimes mixing in the box is probably what the doctor ordered. So anyway, hopefully this was beneficial to you, and if you like this kind of stuff, remember to as I said at the start, like and share this content, and put some comments down below if you have any questions later on, or if you rewatch this and you see it later, definitely hit me in the comments and I'll try and answer them in the next live stream that I do. And thanks for everyone who hung around for the disastrous live stream at the start. It was a mess. I can't say I've ever had such a good experience with live streaming. But anyway, that's now sorted. I think I figured it out, and it's to do with the hotkeys inside of OBS. It was causing me drama inside the live stream and canceling and stuff. It was a mess. Anyway, so I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Again, thank you for everyone who tuned in, and thank you for everyone who likes this channel and is part of the family for Cross Beats. And we'll do another one very shortly for the mastering of this track. I'll save this right now, which I should have done a while back. And that's another thing. Save your work. Remember to do that. But anyway, that's all set, and we'll get to the mastering phase. There won't be that much to do because I've done a lot already on the master bus. But we'll get into that, and I'll just have a look at stuff and analyze stuff, and we'll work it out. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for everyone who tuned in, and I'll catch you on the next live stream. As always, peace.